Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor. And this channel is for purpose-driven entrepreneurs. This is where we help you remove the blocks that keep you from your purpose so that you can manifest abundance through it and assist in creating heaven on earth. So let's jump right into another installment of the stages and phases of a conscious, purpose-driven entrepreneur. I have done a couple videos so far. There was one high-level video that walked through each of the stages with a very brief description, and now we're doing additional information or diving deep into each of these different stages. We start with the wounded seeker, and in that stage, that is prior to your getting help. It may be a newly awakening. You may be going through the dark night of the soul, but essentially you remain in that wounded seeker phase until you are ready to reach out for help. And what you discover as you reach out for help and you step into the unseen light worker stage is that there are blocks. There is either trauma or conditioning or programming that keeps you from your purpose. It acts like a glass ceiling that will not let you break through into the unknown or the uncomfortable until you get some sort of assistance. You need somatic healing as well as a compassionate witness. It is a critical component in the healing process, and it is necessary for you to be able to fully and sustainably step into your purpose. Now, we've done videos on both the wounded seeker as well as the unseen light worker. We've done videos even on the emerging light worker, which is sort of the phase that comes after that healing sort of cocoon phase. The wounded seeker can last as long as you are willing to refuse help, and I've seen it go anywhere from weeks or months to years and years and years. It is sort of that perpetual hermit mode. The unseen light worker phase lasts anywhere from 3 to 6 months, about 6 months worth of somatic healing. I do something called brain spotting. There are other things like EMDR or other somatic healing processes. Will usually take around 6 months for you to move through the vast majority of the early blocks and sort of the removing the weeds of the roots of the weeds that hold you back. Then after that 6 months phase, you step into the emerging lightworker phase, and that's usually around 6 months to 2 years. And that again is a longer process that requires us to start to reintegrate, to realign to our original design is how I like to put it. The emerging lightworker phase is a lot of fun. Life starts to get fun. And then what we're going to talk about today is the shining lightworker phase. And this is year 2 through 5, 2 through 8. I'm still kind of working with that time frame, considering I still feel like I'm still a bit in this stage. And of course, ultimately, I like to always know where the goalposts are. What are we aiming for? And that is the synchronized master. And it usually takes around 8 to 10 years to hit mastery. So who knows, over time, I might end up adding in another phase in between this shining lightworker phase and the synchronized master. But for now, this is where we're at. So what does the synchronized master phase look like? I'm sorry, the shining lightworker phase look like? We'll talk about synchronized master in another video. Today, we're going to talk about the shining lightworker. And again, all of these videos are really designed to kind of help you get a sense of where am I at? What am I feeling, and what should I anticipate the time frame to be? What is the goal, right? Understanding where the goalposts are, very critical in understanding how to move forward. What's next and what should we expect, right? So in the shining lightworker phase, you will feel that you have made very significant progress in healing. You will rarely be triggered. And I'm going to put this in first person because I'm in this with you, and I want you to understand that it's not me pointing fingers, right? So we are rarely triggered, and when we are, it is very minimal. I like to say you're triggered at breakfast and move through it by lunch, but really it gets even faster. You start to see triggers as a gift, and so very quickly you'll say, oh, I'm triggered. Let me go in, right? I like to, seek it out like a missile and go after sort of the root of that weed. What is the trigger here? Because a trigger is a gift to help you see where the wound or the block is in the body, right? The body keeps the score, and that's why we need to go into the body to be able to see the trigger and remove it. We are far less reactive. So when you are triggered, you're triggered because you have sort of an over-exaggerated response. Maybe Joe or Sally would experience something similar and not respond quite as strongly. We feel a really strong activation in the body, and it can cause a lot of reactivity. But when you are in the Shining Lightworker stage and you have moved through a vast majority of the healing and realigning to your design, you are far less reactive. You will notice the activation in your body, but there is space in between the activation and the reaction where you're able to see it, measure it, understand where it's come from, and consciously choose how you want to respond. And this is such a beautiful thing, to be able to take your power back from these wounds, these blocks, these programs, and to be able to consciously create your reality through your reactions. Right. At this stage, we also still recognize the shadow. The shadow will never go away. So it's a constant process of integrating or reintegrating the shadow. Now, I always like to say that you are made perfectly imperfect for your purpose, which means your shadow is part of your design. We are realigning to the original design. And part of the challenge, what blocks us and keeps us from our purpose, from really truly shining brightly, from being the person we were made to be, is that we have fractured off those parts of ourselves that we felt were a liability or a problem, right? Someone somewhere along the way said you were too much of something or not enough of something, and so you fractured off that part of yourself. And so the integration of the shadow continues. The healing and the reintegration, the realignment will continue throughout our entire lives, for many lives, as long as we choose to incarnate here on earth. And that is because it is the ever unfolding process of expansion. The lotus flower is a perfect example of this ever unfolding of how there are always more layers of integration and expansion possible. And that happens through realigning to our design, realigning to and recalibrating to source energy and the guidance that shows us where we are out of alignment with our original design, as well as that integration of the shadow and the expansion of our gifts. That's the fun part. The expansion of the gifts is also never ending. And it's amazing as you're stepping into this phase, you're loving life. Life is awesome and it's fun, and you're enjoying creating, and you're flowing with life instead of in resistance to it. And there's an effortlessness or an ease in that is truly enjoyable. And so that your joy continues to unfold just like that lotus flower as well. It gets funner, more and more fun every day. And you start to question, like, can it get any better? And then it does. And it's so awesome and amazing. So we also are intimately familiar with the nervous system at this point. We understand how it works. We understand the limbic brain and the programs or the triggers or the situations, the environmental stimuli that cause the limbic brain to suspect danger, right? The limbic brain, the subconscious brain, the oldest reptilian part of your brain in those early stages in life determines certain situations or experiences that are unsafe. And then it puts the nervous system on high alert, and it sends you into hypervigilance, and you're in fight or flight. And then your prefrontal cortex is offline, and you're not able to make intelligent decisions or function the way you want to function consciously. You're essentially hijacked by your emotions and your amygdala. So at this stage, we are intimately familiar with the nervous system. We feel its activation very early on. We may make a choice or decision or make a statement or choose a thought or recognize a belief. And very, very quickly you see, oh, I recognize how that's making me feel. I'm very conscious of my emotional guidance system and how to use this to discern whether or not this is right for me or true for me. And then we very quickly, proactively manage the state, right? We manage our energy, we manage our response, we manage our nervous system. We can bring that back down or calm it back down, bring it back online, bring our prefrontal cortex back online. We can consciously shift into that parasympathetic nervous system state, recognizing that an activated nervous system that's in fight, flight, fawn, or freeze is very masculine, blocking and resisting, and therefore what you resist persists. And so we consciously are able to step into the feminine, into the parasympathetic nervous system state, into the allowing and receiving and magnetizing that is available to us when we are in that calm nervous system state. We actively and consciously create and choose the energy we want to cultivate in our lives. We spend time early on in the day architecting our day and architecting our energy. It is a conscious choice. We understand that transmutation is not just dealing with what is given to us, but rather the energy we wake up with in the morning, and knowing that we are able to shift that and change that and step into the energy that we want to be in for the day. We have very firm boundaries at this stage. We are very, very clear on who we are and what we need to thrive, not just survive. And again, part of that being able to consciously choose your response or choose your energy is because of the boundaries that we have created. That old unhealthy relationships have faded away. We have very clear boundaries on who is allowed in our space. It is a privilege and an honor to be in our energy, and only those who nurture us and reciprocate are going to be allowed in that energy. We are very meticulous about preventing toxic environments, toxic relationships, or toxicity of any kind into our energetic field as well as into our body. So we have released toxic relationships, we have released addictions, we are eliminating all of the forms of toxins that we can control. We juice fast, or we cleanse in some way. We won't go into the gory details of all of that, but we are consciously working on cleansing and purifying the vessel so that we can be more open and receptive and a clear channel for source guidance to come through. Healthy relationships continue to be formed. We are attracting new relationships, new healthy, expansive relationships. They say that you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend your time with. So if you are, as a conscious, purpose-driven entrepreneur, aspiring for expansion and realigning to your highest design, self-actualization, really living your best life, as they say, we are consciously choosing and forming healthy relationships in this stage. In those earlier stages, especially the wounded seeker stage, we are very isolated. In the unseen light worker stage, we're in that cocoon of healing. In the emerging light worker stage, we are starting to expand. And in the shining light worker stage, because we are shining so bright, we are letting the world see us. We are drawing to us beautiful, amazing, nurturing, healthy, fun, loving relationships. And it truly is fun. Again, it is one of the best parts of life, is the connection that we are built for and the collaboration that happens. You start to network with people who are in your industry, and you find soul brothers and sisters who have also been seeking you, that have not been able to find you because you weren't shining brightly until this point. Okay, we are predominantly at peace, and that really just goes with the nervous system state as well. But many of us will have healed this belief that the world is unsafe, or that life is hard, and that can create that activated nervous system state. We live in hypervigilance, constantly trying to protect ourselves, and that has all faded away. That it is safe to be at peace predominantly in your life. And I do always clarify, challenges will come, but it is a small portion of our life. It is no longer the predominant energy that we live in. We have a growing sense of oneness. I talk a lot about oneness on this channel. We are all one. We are all intimately connected, not just through the consciousness that is one. We are all part of one consciousness, but also physically we are connected, energetically we are connected. We are all part of the divine, the same way that my finger is part of this body. We are all part of God, source, divine creator, universe, and that becomes more and more integrated into your body. You understand it, you live it, you feel it at a core cellular level. It's not just a knowing, it is a core cellular level understanding. And because of that, we start to have growing levels of compassion and empathy and love. We see the beauty and perfection in everything, and we are predominantly heart-led. There is no shortage of love available to send. And the term shoot at came to mind just now, right? But I'm sending love to every person that we encounter. And when they do something that I don't like, what comes to mind is forgive them, for they know not what they do. And it is because of their pain, because of their wounding, because of their belief in separation, or lack or not feeling valuable or worthy, that they do the things they do. And it becomes so easy to be compassionate because we understand that they are hurting, and that even when they try to hurt me, it is because they are hurting. And it allows it to be so much easier to share that love and compassion. We fully rest in faith and surrender that we are that we are cared for and trust. We have very little doubt or limiting beliefs around who we are, what we're capable of, what's available to us, or are being cared for and supported. That life truly is beautiful when we can rest into this peace. We are fully flowing and surrendered to the flow of life. There is very little resistance to what is. And when that resistance comes up, we very quickly, again, it's the nervous system response. We recognize it in our body. We understand that our body is a beautiful gift and tool to help us navigate this vibrant vibration or frequency world that we live in. And so we recognize the resistance and recognize that everything that is perfect as it is. And resistance is futile and it's painful and it creates hardship and it prevents us from everything that is trying to come to us. So we easily put down resistance to anything. There is zero room for resistance at this stage because, again, it dims our light. It causes us to shrink back. It causes us to pull within. And as a shining light worker, our energy is going out. We are big, we are bright, we are beautiful, and we are okay with being seen and triggering others because we recognize that is the gift that I am here to give you. I am your mirror. I am here to show you what you can be. And if you are triggered by that, that is because of your internal state. It is not because of me. Right? So we are not in resistance to any ounce of that process. The nervous system, the body, the way that life flows, the challenges, the people who may not behave appropriately, the things they should or shouldn't do. It's all perfect as it is. And we flow with loving what is. Right? Yeah, I mentioned the emotional guidance system and working very closely with that. We are starting to fine tune our manifestation abilities. Again, I recap things just in case you haven't seen the other videos, but just in case you aren't aware, you are a manifester, you are creating, we are creating all the time, whether we realize it or not. In those early stages, especially the wounded seeker and the unseen seeker, we are very much manifesting on autopilot, more of the same, essentially shooting ourselves in the foot and not even realizing it because of those wounds and those beliefs that hold us back. In the emerging light worker stage, we start to understand manifestation. We're aware of it. We start to kind of play with it. And now we're fine tuning it. We're getting really good at it. Manifestations are happening quickly and easily and effortlessly. We are, again, spending time to architect our day, architect our energy, and we use our imaginative creative abilities to be able to design our daily life and segment, intend, as Abraham Hicks likes to say it. We break down our day or our life into these segments, and we consciously choose how we want those to go. Now, it may not always work because we are fine-tuning that process, but we will get better and better at it. Of course, by the time we master this, we reach the synchronized master phase after about that 8 or 10 year mark. Then we are, income is flowing pretty steadily and easily at this point. We are even being surprised by special little bonuses that seem to come out of nowhere. Money is no longer an issue in the shining lightworker stage. You are fully cared for and taken care of in every possible way. Just as the birds always have food and the trees always have water, you have everything you need, and you do not need to seek or create it on your own anymore. And most importantly, you rest fully surrendered into that faith and that knowing. There's no doubt anymore. There is zero room for doubt. And I believe it was said that when you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. I like to think of it as much, there is so little doubt it is the size of a mustard seed, because truly we are able to move mountains when we are in full faith and belief. We are living on purpose and making money doing it. We are in our purpose. We clearly understand our gifts, our talents, they continue to grow and get stronger and expand. There are more and more gifts that come online. You may have thought of yourself as being intuitive and end up being a psychic medium by this stage. Who knows the ways that these things move and progress, but always being aligned with God, source, creator, divine universe. Really, really checking in at those micro moments of every second of every day is what's going to allow that to expand and grow the way that you were designed to expand and grow. We are learning to consciously choose our gifts, or not choose the gifts, to master them, to use them with intention. That some of us start out as sort of intuitive. Sometimes I can get the question right. Sometimes I don't. You become more and more accurate over time. And we are mastering how to use them consciously. We also, from a business perspective, are very clear on what we have to offer, who we are offering it to, and our vision. We're refining our vision at this point. Our vision is growing, and we're gaining more and more clarity around our original design, our purpose, what we're here to do. At this point, we have embraced sales because selling is helping. We have rewritten the paradigm of sales. We do it from a loving, generous place. We give from the heart. Free healing sessions are, the old sales call, and there is no fear of asking for what you're worth, or raising your prices, or valuing yourself, because you are a gem and you are extremely valuable, and you deserve to be reciprocated, right? That we need reciprocating energy. Both you as well as the person that you give to needs to be in a reciprocating energy dynamic. And we understand this fully. We've embraced it, and we have no fear around it anymore. There is no activation anymore, right? We are getting comfortable with marketing and advertising because we understand that in order to be able to help people, we have to be able to create awareness. And so we do it excitedly because it is just another opportunity to shine brightly. And we love doing that at this stage. We are strengthening our focus. We are not the diffused light bulb that ends up chasing every shiny object. We are very clear, very focused, and we have increased our impulse control so that we can remain as powerful as a focused laser instead of a diffused light bulb. And of course, we need support in doing all of this. We have started to build a team. We have a network. We have support. We have extra resources. And it is abundant in every way. We are abundant in every way. We have fully aligned to our original design and reclaimed our abundance birthright as a beautiful, beautiful, bright, seen, visible, shining light worker. Okay. I love you, my friends. This is so fun. I hope you come along very quickly and very soon, because Heaven on Earth is being constructed now, and we would love to welcome you as part of the New Earth Construction team in our New Earth Construction team community. I do have a link below if you'd like to join that for a very, very reasonable cost right now. If you join us, you will be considered a founding member because we are just getting started, and you would be grandfathered in at that very low cost of $20 a month. Otherwise, if you're not quite ready to be part of a group and part of a community to be seen, you can take advantage of one of my free healing sessions. I do also have a link for that below. All right. I love you, my friends. I will see you on the other side. Come join us. It's awesome and amazing over here. Otherwise, take care. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, and help the channel grow. Spread the word. Life can be good. Take care, my friends. Namaste.